Ukraine formed a powerful new brigade. The 155th Mechanized Brigade has Leopard 2 tanks and Caesar howitzers. One of the Ukrainian Army's newest brigades has arrived in Ukraine after nearly 3 months training in Poland and France. The 155th Mechanized Brigade is arguably the best and certainly the most heavily armed of the dozen or so new brigades the Ukrainian armed forces have formed in recent months. After an initial round of expansion following Russia's wider invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, the Ukrainian ground forces, the Army, Air Assault Forces, Marine Corps, National Guard, and Territorials could deploy 100 brigades, each with around 2,000 people. It was one of the biggest active land forces in the world, and it wasn't enough. Outnumbered and outgunned by the Russian military and overstretched along the 800-mile front line of the wider war, the best Ukrainian brigades never got a chance to disengage for rest and maintenance. The elite 47th Mechanized Brigade, the main user of Ukraine's American-made armored vehicles, was in bloody combat for 15 months before it finally rotated off the front line this fall. But even this belated break came to an abrupt end when Ukraine's invasion of Kursk Oblast in western Russia drew the brigade back into action. The 155th Mechanized Brigade formed in May, but it mostly existed on paper until September when 2,300 Ukrainian soldiers, the bulk of the new brigade, flew to France and began training alongside 1,500 French Army instructors. At the same time, a few hundred soldiers from the 155th Mechanized Brigade's tank battalion arrived in Poland to train with the Polish Army. The French outfitted the 155th Mechanized Brigade with Caesar self-propelled howitzers, AMX-10 RC reconnaissance vehicles, and heavy mortars. The Poles handed over 31 Leopard 2A4 tanks apparently drawn from Spanish surplus stocks. The 155th Mechanized Brigade isn't the best equipped Ukrainian brigade, but it's in the top tier, and it should be able to trade places with the 47th Mechanized Brigade or some other exhausted heavy brigade. The 155th Mechanized Brigade is one of the important operational reserves of our country, commented Yuri Butusov, the famed Ukrainian war correspondent. But owing to funding shortfalls in Kiev, the brigade lacks drones and anti-drone radio jammers, according to Butusov. That's a problem. Small drones are the most important surveillance and attack assets on both sides of the wider war. Russian forces have made incremental gains across different parts of the front line this week, according to the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, whose maps show the latest state of play in the war. In its Wednesday update, the Washington, D.C. think tank said that Russia had advanced in the Kursk Oblast, where Ukraine faces a fierce fight to hold on to territory captured in its incursion launched on August 6th. The ISW said that geolocated footage showed elements of Russia's 104th Airborne Regiment had advanced in a platoon-sized mechanized assault southeast of the town of Korenovo. Pro-Russian military bloggers also said there were advances by Moscow near the village of Darina, where Ukrainian forces had been counterattacking. In Ukraine's Luhansk region, Russia's offensive along the Kupiansk-Svatovo-Kreminna line Wednesday saw marginal advances near Dvorshna, north of Kupiansk, where fighting rages on the outskirts of the settlement, according to a Russian military blogger. The ISW map shows some of these developments, including a Russian Defense Ministry claim on Tuesday that Moscow had captured the village of Kopanki. The Kremlin's forces have advanced southeast and south of Pokrovsk, the logistics hub whose seizure by Moscow would boost its aim of capturing the rest of the Donetsk region. CNN reported Thursday that Ukrainian soldiers in Pokrovsk had complained that personnel shortages could allow Russia to make a significant breakthrough in the area. A lack of infantry has meant that drones are being used to strike advancing Russian units. As an example of the personnel problems Kyiv faces, a Ukrainian commander told the channel that Selidov, a key town outside of Pokrovsk, which Russia had captured, had been defended by only 60 troops who were quickly encircled and forced to retreat. The ISW's latest map of the region marked Russia's seizure of Berezhsky on Wednesday, Rozhdol further south the previous day, and Lysychny on Monday. There were also reported advances by Moscow north of Kurakov. The think tank said earlier this week that Russian troops could soon envelop the town of Velika Novosilka, which would threaten Ukrainian supply lines leading to Donetsk, Dnipropetrovsk, and Zaporizhzhia oblasts. Russia made the most gains since the start of the war. This momentum comes amid concerns about what the incoming Donald Trump administration will mean for continued U.S. support for Kyiv's fight against Russian aggression.